Hey there, glad to bring you another update about the situation in Ukraine and what's happening. I want to start off by premising something that I've noticed coming into discussion lately in the expert circles. Basically, a lot more pro-Ukrainian leaning experts are already saying that the battle pause that the Russians took after capturing of Lysychansk and Severodonetsk around here, that they have already started moving again, they're already fighting again. Some are even saying that the fighting never stopped. But I'm more inclined to believe people that are more neutral and, like fact oriented. To put you in a perspective, a Ukrainian side would say that there is, right, 38,000 dead Russians right now in Ukraine, whereas this neutral side, for example, would state that there's maybe 12 to 15,000, right? So it's a lot more reasonable numbers. And in the same kind of aspect, they are saying that while there is still fighting going on and there is an air strikes going on and artillery, overall the active engagement is not really ongoing, and I'm inclined to believe. So what is happening? Well, around Kharkiv, it's pretty much the same. Ukrainians are definitely trying to push in, but the Russians are actually digging quite well over there, so they are not letting Ukrainians go forward. But to be honest, with HIMARS, it doesn't really matter anyway. So this point here, like the whole point of Ukrainians getting to the border was to cut off this supply line, and but now they've been actually able to successfully attack and destroy a rail network here, like a big crossing, a rail bridge, and it's actually been done like a couple of months ago. And some experts are actually saying that the fact that this Izium direction could not really advance as far as, for example, the Lysychansk direction was in a large part due to the fact that the supplies were cut short, that there was no this direct line going into the Izium, that it was basically based on the trucks, and it wasn't really that hard for Ukrainians to hold them there. This, of course, now is exponentially more difficult because of Ukrainians striking with the HIMARS all over the place. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this a little bit more, but let's just finish the fronts so far. So we know basically what I've said last time was precisely right, and this is exactly where we see battle reports, fighting here, here, and then also, this is a little bit too far maybe. I'm just gonna come in here and just a little bit closer. Yes, so it's from Slavyansk, along the river, around the Bakhmut, here attack, the attacks towards here from both sides. The attack towards the road is trying to be coming also a little bit towards the south here. So exactly those directions that we talked about last time, the Russians are trying to push. But again, the experts that I'm listening to, they're saying that this is more of a probing push, right? They're trying to find out if there is any significant weak points in the Ukrainian defense. So they're more trying. Around the Kherson area, we know that whatever I told you in past couple of times is again true. So Ukrainians are chipping away at some of the places here, there. Like they said in the past like week or 2 weeks, about 44 villages have been liberated from the Russians. So they are actually cutting in. I'm not going to show exactly where they're cutting in, and this map is actually a little bit outdated, but the point is it's good, and they're definitely trying to strike. I approximately already know the plan of the attack that they're taking. Some of the experts are outlining this plan. I don't want to say too much, just to because it's not been publicly yet released. But from what we can expect, it's going to be pretty interesting to see, and supposedly it might come somewhat soon. So what do we know so far about the defense of Kherson? We know that we've seen equipment going into the Kherson region. We know that there is additional tanks and fighting vehicles going in there. We know that there has been a lot of reinforced concrete structures like beachheads and so on. Sorry, not beachheads, but this like a reinforced fire positions, concealed positions that are going to be dug into the ground are going to come in there. A lot of the older T-62 tanks that we talked about a couple of months ago, they are actually around Kherson area already being basically dug into the ground as essentially turrets, exactly as we were expecting. And we know that the Russians are reinforcing approaches to Antonov Bridge. Basically, the Russians are digging in and they're making defense lines. So they are preparing for a fight. The question, will this fight really happen? That is a good point. And we can just look at the idea about HIMARS. So because everything now, the HIMARS changed everything. And this is, again, just to underscore just how paper tiger the Russian army is. There should never, with any world's army, there should never be a situation when any kind of, like 4 to 8 cars or 4 to 8 weapons of any type should not be able to, well, I mean, unless it's nuclear weapons, right? Probably, unless it's nuclear weapons, like that small amount of weapons should not influence the war effort, especially if we're talking the supposedly second world's powerful army here, because this is embarrassing for the Russians, right? So I'm going to show you this map here. And this map basically was done by a person. I'm not sure. He placed a watermark. And if you're able to understand that watermark, good for you, because I was really trying to decode what it says. So it's DefMon 3, I guess. I don't know. So then credits to him. But basically, that person took his time to see where the essentially the ammo depots were hit by the HIMARS systems, and then considered, like, understand what is the logic behind them. And he found out that most of them were, if you see green lines, that's the railway networks. Basically, they were located at the railway network hubs. So what he did, he put in these HIMARS GMLRS missiles that Ukrainians currently are using, and put them in the red. That's the area where they can reach. And what this means is that the blue circles is actually showing that, hey, this is actually kind of far away from the front lines. So it's going to get significantly more problematic for Russians to get this equipment and ammo into the front lines without using the railway networks directly. So what does it mean? Well, firstly, this means that Kherson area is gonna get really short on the ammo really fast. One might say, well, but they will just disperse the ammo, and that's what they are doing. They are also, Russians are doing, they found a new way what to do is they're putting the ammo essentially under hospitals, under kindergartens, under schools. So essentially they're using civilians as a shield because they know that Ukrainians will not strike civil targets. So while there's not going to be this big facility, a lot of the ammo is still going to be stored in the storerooms. However, I will argue that the damage has been already dealt. The problem of Kherson is that it's only two major lines here. Like, let me clear this out. So there is only bridge here and there is only bridge here. So it's only two bridges, and basically right now that's the only supply lines into Kherson. Let's just say while half a year was long enough time for Kherson to get a lot of ammo in it to have those big stockpiles, the current timeline doesn't allow for that. And this means that the shortage of munitions is going to be real for Kherson area. Moreover, I am going to be saying that once the big stockpiles are going to end, the next one is going to get targeted from some operational level objectives. So it's going to be command points, personnel location. So as a Russian soldier, I would start getting really, really scared right about now, because before they would hit the ammo supplies. However, very soon I'm expecting them to start targeting the troops, this troop disposition headquarters. This means that the Kherson offensive is going to come, and it's going to be really good. And we already should prepare ourselves that at some point, sometime soon, the Ukrainian army will start receiving the big boy ATACAMS missiles that will have 300-kilometer reach. And that will, of course, mean that Ukrainians will strike the Crimean bridge. This is the supply line. That is, if you see the white lines, you notice that the white lines don't really go anywhere here. So that means that the railway networks only extends from the Kerch bridge towards the Ukraine. So once this train line is over, it's going to get really hard to supply equipment, because all of this area has been heavily fought for, and a lot of these train lines are extremely damaged. Extremely damaged. There is a very poor infrastructure here now. So as soon as that bridge gonna get slapped, and I believe it will, the battle for the south will be very much harder for the Russians to hold on to.